the wandering spirit. Welcome, friends. Step into the world of chilling tales on your favorite English Horror Tales channel, where every night brings a new terror. In the upscale neighborhood of Bandra, Mumbai, there's an old bungalow known as the White House. Built 70 years ago, it once belonged to the Gupta family. But in 1990, their youngest daughter, Meenakshi, took her own life in her room at the age of 18. No one knew why. Some said she was depressed, others whispered she'd been tormented. After Meenakshi's death, the Gupta family abandoned the bungalow. But Meenakshi's spirit stayed behind, trapped in the house. Locals say her wandering spirit haunts anyone who dares to enter. The story centers on Diksha, a 25-year-old interior designer, who takes on a project to renovate the White House with her boyfriend, Karan. The bungalow had been bought by a real estate company that wanted to turn it into a luxury villa. Diksha didn't believe in ghosts, but Karan had a bad feeling from the start. "This place doesn't feel right," he told her. "There's something wrong with the air." Diksha laughed it off, saying, "You're just a scaredy cat, Karan. It's just an old house." On an evening in May 2025, Diksha and Karan arrived at the bungalow. It looked beautiful from the outside, but inside, the air was cold and heavy. Diksha began inspecting the house, her tools in hand. The main hall was long, with old rooms on either side. On the wall hung a faded portrait of a girl with a sad expression. Karan said, "That might be Meenakshi. I heard her spirit wanders here." Diksha rolled her eyes. "Stop with the nonsense. Let's get to work." At 8 p.m. Diksha went upstairs to Meenakshi's old room. The room had a rusty bed, and the walls were covered in scratches, as if someone had clawed at them. As Diksha measured the space, she felt a cold shiver. Something heavy pressed against her shoulder, like an invisible hand. She turned, but no one was there. Thinking it was her imagination, she continued working. Then, the door slammed shut on its own. Diksha tried to open it, but it wouldn't budge. She called for Karan, but there was no answer. A pained whisper filled the room, "Let me go." The voice was so anguished that Diksha's heart sank. She turned on her flashlight and scanned the room. On one wall, written in blood, were the words, "I'm here." Diksha's breath quickened. She pushed at the door again, and this time it opened. She stumbled into the hall where Karan was working. She told Karan everything, but he brushed it off. "You're just tired, Diksha. It's all in your head." As he spoke, the hall's lights flickered. Then, a girl's scream pierced the air, so loud that Diksha and Karan covered their ears. A large mirror in the hall reflected Meenakshi's image, her eyes black, her face streaked with blood. She stared at Diksha and said, "You disturbed me, now you'll stay with me." Meenakshi's spirit stepped out of the mirror. Her skin was rotting, black blood dripping from her mouth. In her hands was a rope, the one she'd used to end her life. She flung the rope at Diksha, and it wrapped around her neck on its own. Diksha screamed, struggling to breathe, while Karan tried to free her. He pulled a small cross from his pocket, a gift from his grandmother, and held it up, reciting a prayer. Meenakshi shrieked, her form dissolving into smoke. The rope fell from Diksha's neck, and she collapsed, gasping for air. But as the smoke cleared, the walls of the bungalow began to shake. Blood seeped from the cracks, and screams filled the air. Meenakshi reappeared, her face even more horrifying, her eyes blood-red, her mouth stretched into a grotesque scream. Diksha and Karan ran for the main door, Meenakshi's spirit chasing them, her screams so intense that blood dripped from their ears. They burst out of the bungalow and fled in their car. Diksha never looked back at the White House after that night. But every night, she hears Meenakshi's voice in her dreams, "I'm here." And every morning, she finds a scratch mark near her bed, as if made by a rope. Share your thoughts and your own scary stories in the comments. If you liked this story, hit like, share, and subscribe to Horror Tales. Until the next chilling tale, stay safe,